Tulsi Gabbard said only a few months ago that they were not
I wanted
a nuclear weapon.
She testified under oath, and I trust her word a lot more.
I want to push back on that a little bit.
You trust it more than Donald Trump's word?
I do want to push back on this a little bit because I think we need to be accurate. And if I sound like I'm beating around the bush, it's because I'm trying to be accurate. We're talking about nuclear war here, right? So let's be a little serious. And Tulsi Gabbard didn't say that Iran isn't building nukes. She said, we have no intelligence that Iran has ordered, that Ayatollah Khomeini has ordered the restart of a nuclear weapons program. She then also said that in addition to that, we agree with the public statements that Iran has been enriching uranium at a level that is not weaponized and yet seems to be higher than they would need for nuclear fuel. And so this idea that it's just like Tulsi Gabbard's opinion, she's not just giving her opinion, right? She's saying, I've looked, we don't have this intelligence. If there is intelligence, I'd like to see it.
I'll tell you why I think this is happening.
But she hasn't.
Support for Israel is down. Support for Israel is going down. And the younger generation is split between the right, which is don't want to be involved in your war, and the left, they hate Israel. And then you've got a faction of the right, or whatever you'd call it, that is anti-Israel. The move has to be made now. Because when the boomers pass on, start dying, the younger generation is not going to tolerate it. Right now, politically, the move can be made while it's still divided. You wait 10 years, it's going to be 60% anti-Israel. Not so much anti-Israel. It's going to be 60% we don't want to be involved at all.
And Netanyahu just survived a very narrow vote for his leadership just last week. And a lot of people are pointing to his domestic base, which goes along with some of this popularity issue that Israel has in the United States. It also is Netanyahu's own popularity domestically within Israel. He's having issues with his coalition. One of the ultra-Orthodox parties was threatening to break out. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, or I don't know how to say it actually. And they were saying, we're going to come out because we don't want to be conscripted, because Israel, as we know, has compulsory military service. And so it's widespread military acceptance in the population. However, the ultra-Orthodox were saying they didn't want to be in, and they were threatening to blow up Netanyahu's coalition if he didn't agree to this concession. They were able to rend that out of him, and so the coalition stood, but I think he only stayed in power by like 9 votes or something like that just last week on the eve of all of this.
They're just going to end up blowing up MAGA's coalition. I mean, there's going to be no support for this because the left is going to oppose anything Trump does, and most of his supporters are principled in being against this. So who does that leave? A handful of boomers?
Well, and I think that's
spirit of John McCain.
I do think that's the thread that Trump understands of understanding that the MAGA coalition is just like all coalition politics, which I mentioned BB is dealing with some as well, that there's going to be this friction. So, I don't see a lot of the Maha crowd being down with this. Yeah. I don't see a lot of and RFK Jr. himself had spoken out quite a bit against the Ukraine war, but then his own son actually had volunteered for it. So there's this big split, there's this big friction point. And at the same time, though, I think that President Trump is very concerned and as Alad mentioned, has always said that he's very concerned with Iran getting a nuclear weapon. And if he truly believes there isn't any other way out, diplomatically or other, then that's his prerogative and that's his decision to make on what he sees as the best way to go forward.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.